Hi everyone, welcome to Tidbit Tuesday. I have another guest for you to hear from today. I'll be speaking with Leslie of Blaze Communications. Hi Leslie, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Leslie Blaze, and I'm a freelance writer who focuses on the architecture, engineering, construction industry. And I believe that professional services firms could really benefit from adding case studies to their marketing toolbox.
I'm so excited to get your expert insight on why case studies are such a great content piece for, businesses in the professional services space. All right, so my first question is, how is a case study different than a testimonial?
A case study includes quotes or testimonials, but it's more than that. It tells a story in the typical challenge, solution, result format, although not necessarily in that order. I see them as one case study equals 3 wins. So the first win is the firm that has a strategic initiative that they can highlight through a case study. The
Mhm.
second win is the happy customer, and they're getting free publicity. And the third win is for the prospect, who is getting third-party verification of what it's like to work with the firm, and also the case study may offer potential solutions that they hadn't thought of. So that's why the triple win is why case studies are so nice.
And so if someone's interested in actually developing a case study for their business, what does that process kind of look like for them?
Let's start with a professional services firm, and they have a strategic initiative and that they really want to promote. So they'll turn to their business development people and marketers and others and say, who's a happy customer that we could highlight that might want to tell their story? And so, they would start there. And then they go to the happy customer and they approve. And then the next step would be to ask either a writer in the firm or an exterior writer to talk to the happy customer. First, they'd meet with the client and understand, okay, what are the strategic initiatives we want to focus on here? And then that writer would interview the happy customer and get their story and ask for relevant metrics that show how there was a challenge, and then the firm offered a solution, there was a result, or perhaps it's just that the situation is really better. And so then after the draft is received, it goes first to the client and they approve it, and then the happy customer gets a chance to look it over, and then you're all set. You've got a case study that you can share with prospects.
How do you, from like going through that interview process, have you found any kind of tips or tricks that are helpful in like having a really organic yet targeted and successful conversation with those happy customers?
For the happy customers, I think it's best to give them an option of, excuse me, of having questions. And of course, the writer, the interviewer can always ask follow-up questions. But so then they'll feel relaxed with the situation, and ask, ahead of time if they have, pictures that are relevant or good metrics.
Do you have any suggestions on how to really get your customers excited about taking the time? Because I know it can, depending on, your specific industry or your service, it can be, a little bit of a time commitment from the customer too. Have you found like a specific approach to asking for this time commitment to be helpful for you or for your customers in the past?
The job is really for the writer. It shouldn't be a lot of time commitment. So let's start with the client firm. They have strategic initiative, and if you go in the beginning and say, okay, you want to do case studies, so always be on the lookout for happy customers who might agree. So, it's training your people to be on the lookout for a happy customer. So if somebody says, oh, you did such a wonderful job, say, hey, would you mind, talking about that in a case study? And you'll be able to approve it, and it won't be that much of a time commitment. I'd say the interviews are 30 minutes to 45 minutes and then reviewing it. So it's not a huge time commitment, but then everybody can use that case study in a lot of ways.
How do you feel like professional service firms are like actually using these, in their marketing and their sales? Like what does the application look like?
One key way to use it is with the prospects, by your either the technical people or the business development people meet with somebody who has a similar problem and they can say, hey, I've got this case study that I can share with you, and you can learn more about what it's like to work with us. And so how it really helps the prospect is they have third-party verification or social proof of what it's like to work with the firm by a peer. And they might even find out a potential solution that they hadn't thought of. You could do a Q&A blog post. You can take out the quotes and have them as testimonials on your website and proposals. You can use, you can take the case study and dissect it or use it as a whole. Use the metrics from it. Many different ways of cutting it apart. And so that's always nice when you can repurpose content.
Yeah, I
And
love that you mentioned that. I love the idea of recycling content because I feel like salespeople, marketers, business owners, everyone's, so strapped for time. They really want to get the most out of their content. So I love that you pointed that out because it is so true. So just a whole other reason case studies are so great.
yeah, you also can take it and, if you've got a happy customer who's really pretty glib, you can say, okay, you've told us your story. Could we get a video of that? The other thing I really like about case studies is that they're really turbocharging project profiles. I've written a lot of project profiles for professional services firms, and and they have a lot of facts to them, and they can be kind of dry. The judges, the people that review proposals, they're the same ones that like to read stories in other places. So
Right.
of course you want the facts. The engineers, architects, planners, they want to tell the facts of how things were achieved, but there's nothing wrong with bringing in the story element as well.
Oh my gosh, Leslie, these are all amazing ideas. You have some amazing tips, and I really think, people would benefit from applying these, as they see fit within their own, content strategy, their own marketing and sales strategy. So I think there's a lot here for people to leverage, and I think you have a lot of great insights beyond this. So how can people best connect with you or learn more about what you do after they check out this video?
Okay, well, I'm easy to connect with on LinkedIn, and so I welcome connections, and that would be great if you would like to connect with me. And what I bring to the party is I have a lot of experience in the architecture, engineering, construction world or related industries. So I can come in and help out. Certainly I'm not going to understand every project or every technique, but I bring that background, and I think my clients have found that really useful. That I bring that, and I've written about a lot of different areas.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Leslie. That was great. I think everyone's going to enjoy this video. So thank you everyone for joining us for this week's Tidbit Tuesday, and we'll always see you for our next video. Bye everyone. Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you soon.